This is the Costa Conservation Village. I'm going to be coming back later on to see world-renowned Chef Alan. He used to have an amazing restaurant in the Aventura area. He's going to be doing a demonstration cooking lionfish. And for anybody that knows, down here, lionfish are an invasive species, and they've been kind of wreaking havoc on the ecosystem here, coral reefs and so forth. So even like in Biscayne National Park, normally in a national park you can't do any kind of hunting, fishing, removal of even a grain of sand. They encourage people to catch as many lionfish as possible. They say they're delicious, cook them up, and so forth. So Chef Alan's going to be showing right here a cooking demonstration for lionfish. I know I've never tried one. And he has a new book as well. And we'll be coming back for that. And I'm just going to show what else is over here.
And they also filter the water. Gallons a day. Yeah, so
with me is world famous Chef Alan. And he's going to discuss what he's been up to and what he's doing here as far as lionfish and the importance of that as far as catching them for the ecosystem and so forth.
Yeah, great. Well, a pleasure to have you here, and welcome to our part of the world with talking about lionfish at the International Boat Show here in Miami. And we're in the conservation tech. And it's kind of really important to think about conservation and sustainable seafood as we're talking about lionfish. So lionfish is an invasive species. Lionfish is delicious, but it's also a problem in our waters as well as the waters all along the Gulf Coast and throughout the Caribbean. So I'm encouraging people to eat them and really trying to get people to know that you can catch them and clean them, cook them, and it's really simple and easy. Lots of great flavors that happen with it. And so I just did a new cookbook, Green Fig and Lionfish. You know, it's a sweet white flesh fish, so that talking about sustainability, it's something that if in the book, if you can't get lionfish, you can use another fresh fish. But I encourage you to try lionfish. Lionfish is this species that, and why it's invasive, is the problem is that they have no natural enemy here. They have taken over the reefs all along the coast, and they multiply so quickly, they mature so young and have so many eggs, almost 2 million eggs a year, so they're eating all of the small fish, all the bait fish, all of the regular fish on the reef. And that's why we really need to get rid of them, and they have no other natural enemy but us. So I'm encouraging you to eat them to beat them.
With me is Judi Susser, Alan's wife, and she's going to demonstrate some of the chocolate that her husband made in St Lucia. Look at that, it's beautiful. Let me get some detail of that.
all handmade.
Wow.
Beans galore.
Okay, so let's try that out.
Okay, so yesterday was Mother Nature.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
What kind of chocolate? You don't chew it, you kind of let it melt in your mouth.
Just melt your mouth, let me try
This is
that.
my sweetest chocolate. It's 60% cacao and 40% sugar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It tastes amazing.
So stick around, guys. This is going to be a great presentation. He's a James Beard award-winning chef, and he's pretty renowned. So make sure you come and join us for this talk, and he will be ready to present in about 2 minutes. Thank you guys again so much for coming.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be moving this all there. This is just
Welcome everybody, glad you're all here, and welcome to the Miami International Boat Show, and welcome as well to our Costa Conservation Village. I know that several of you are brand new to being here, and so thrilled to have you. I'm Chef Alan Susser. As introduced, I am a James Beard award-winning chef, but I also love to cook. That's the most important thing. I love to cook, and as long as you guys love to eat, we're in the same frame here. with our conservation and conservation partners, though I'm talking about sustainable seafood and lionfish in particular, I also want you afterwards, make sure you get up and go see all of our partners here with NOAA, with Lionfish, with Ocean Conservation, Conservancy, Ocean Conservancy, right? Also the captains for Clean Water, which are also wonderful, as well as the Florida Wildlife. Okay, so pleasure, as well as all the Costa folks. It's really amazing because a few days ago when we started this village, it was sort of like we didn't know each other, but each of us have done presentations and spoken about their part within conservation and taking care of the oceans, taking care of the waters, seeing some of the problems and also sharing some solutions. And I think that's been wonderful. So that being here with all these folks, they've got some great ideas. And that's hopefully what I inspire you also to take action, whether it's a little thing by understanding, getting to know what sustainable seafood is, or maybe cleaning up a beach, or before you take a plastic bottle, instead of taking a plastic bottle, get a reusable bottle. You know, so these little things, little solutions that we can do are really immense. So sustainable seafood, not everyone understands what sustainable seafood is, first off, okay? To me, sustainable seafood is having choices in seafood, having choices that you can make with different types of seafood, and kind of making sure that the ocean and the waterways provide those different choices, not only for now, but for generations to come, for your grandkids and your grandkids and their grandkids. So we want to preserve that. How do we preserve that? Is to protect the water from being overfished. We have to make sure that we don't overfish and also have extra bycatch. The volume of fishing that goes on today is immense. The volume, you know, this is like sports fishing, and this is like hand-to-hand combat, which is great because it's really connecting to the fish and to the water and the quality of both the fish and the water and the experience. But a lot of fishing actually goes on with mass factory boats. And these factory boats are not necessarily the best thing for us. Some are. They're doing better sustainable practices, depending on where they're fishing, how they're fishing, and the controls that are going on with the fishing. So that's important. So knowing where your fish come from is what sustainable seafood is about. Asking when you go to a restaurant or to the fishmonger, where does your fish come from? Is it fresh? Is it farm raised? Where is it coming from? I'm not saying that farm raised is bad or fresh is the only way to go. Both are going to be a component of what we need to have. So that's kind of what sustainable seafood is about. Okay, so taking a look, taking care of our ocean. That's what we want. We want to have ocean for recreation, for eating, for the beautiful fish, the colorful fish, the varieties of fish, the energy of it, to keep the ocean healthy. These are all really important things. So taking care of the ocean is really one of the most important things that we can do to help think about sustainable seafood. So sustainability is not only good for the planet, and that's kind of what these guys are here talking about, the planet, the bigger picture, or even they're talking about the Gulf, or talking about the Keys, or talking about worldwide, pollution and plastics in the waters and that sort. But sustainability is good for the planet, but it's also good for you. It's good for you, to take care of yourself. It's healthier to have sustainable seafood. Okay, so authenticity and sourcing is kind of what I'm talking about. Knowing where the fish comes from. Whether you go to Whole Foods, I think Whole Foods is pretty cool because then when you go to the fish counter there, they tell you where it's caught. And, whether it's frozen or whether it's actually all their fish is sustainable. But there's a lot of fish that is not caught sustainably or farmed sustainably. So that, understanding where it comes from, whether it's from the fishmonger or whether it's from the grocery store or whether it's from a restaurant. Going to a restaurant and asking the server or asking the chef, where does your fish come from? Showing them that you're concerned about fresh fish, that you're concerned about sustainable fish, that you want sustainable choices. Okay, so that's kind of where that starts off in that sort of fashion. Going on, sustainable fishing is important. One of the things that I do, I'm based here in Miami, and I've had a restaurant called Chef Allen's for about 25 years, very successful, very focused on fresh fish, tropical fruits, Latin root vegetables, and all the spices of the Caribbean. That's kind of my theme of things that I cooked at Chef Allen's. So 25 years at Chef Allen's, and right now though, I do consulting here in Miami for restaurants, hotels, resorts, as well as down in the Caribbean. So traditional island fishery is kind of looking like this. Okay, it's a small boat, probably 3 or 4 man crew with a little engine, not half the size of any of these boats out here, like a little engine, taking it out. And I'm actually going to show you this next slide over here, which is kind of, that's what it looks like when the 4 man crew is out there. Okay, so this is just off the coast. In the morning, there's like 3 or 4 guys. They spread out a net, and from the net, they're netting. Okay, and they're capturing the fish that are there. It's not a huge haul, it's just a little fish. They're gonna have maybe between 10 and 20 fish. Okay, so they're out for a few hours, they bring it back in, and it's sold that day. It's through a hand-to-hand, careful, you know, really delicious fish. It's caught and it's eaten, simple as that. So today we're going to talk about lionfish. This is my friend the lionfish over here. Okay, I'll show you when I get down to the real stuff what it looks like. But this lionfish is a beautiful fish. Okay, it swims, all the, you know, those fins on the side, all kind of collapses, no meat in it, but it's used to actually flush the fish in front of them and then eat it. So that's kind of what that's about. So the size of the fish looks, if you look at it, like on the lion's mane, really rough and tough and scary, but actually the size of the fish, you'll see, kind of shrinks down. It is venomous. Okay, venomous means it can sting you if you touch it and you touch the dorsal fins, which are the back. Dorsal fins are the back 7 or 9 fins, depending on, there's 2 varieties. That's where the venom is. But if you're going to a fish store or you're going to order lionfish, that's already removed. So you do not have any venom, you do not have any poison in a lionfish. It's not there. So it's safe to eat, it's delicious, and that's what we're going to taste today is a little bit of the lionfish.
How available is lionfish in the market?
Lionfish is available mostly almost every day at Whole Foods. I will say that. I've been working with them, and because I actually buy from them to do demonstrations and to put it. But it's not that prevalent yet, because lionfish, as you'll see, the problem with obtaining lionfish is that it's all spear caught. So you have to go down, either snorkel or dive, and catch the lionfish. So you can see the snorkeler, he's diving, the diver here, and the lionfish are over here. There's 2 lionfish over there. Okay, so all he does is spear them, and then he puts it into what we call a zookeeper. The zookeeper here, it's a name brand. It's not, there was other brands that do this, but basically takes the spear, puts it in, and it has a little web at the end, and you pull it out, the fish stays in, and the spear comes out. So that you can spear 10, 15, 20 of these fish while you're down there, because they're that slow. They're not worried about anything, and you just pull it out until you capture a whole lot of these wonderful fish. So here, the next slide, you'll see has the capture, and you can see probably about 20 or 25 lionfish in there. And when you come to shore, you take it and you dump it out. So here's a picture of my lionfish crew. Actually, it's a dive crew out on Champcenay. On Champcenay and Jade Mountain are the 2 resorts that I work with in St Lucia. So this is actually a picture from Earth Day, where they were down cleaning the reef. We call it cleaning the reef of these lionfish, capturing them, and then guess what? We're going to cook it. Okay, so really a delicious fish with that. So green fig and lionfish, or quite honestly, green fig and saltfish, is the national dish of St Lucia. The national dish of St Lucia kind of stems from the locals, what they eat. Green figs are actually green bananas, not figs, but green bananas. And the lionfish here, I'm calling it lionfish, but traditionally they've been using saltfish, salt cod. Okay, salted cod, which a lot of cultures use, a lot of cultures have it in their diet. And so what I'm saying going forward is sustainability, use green fig with lionfish because we have to get rid of these lionfish. So the lionfish, just to go a little bit further into this beautiful fish, not only is it kind of spear fish, but the problem with it is an invasive species. Invasive species means they've invaded here and that they have no natural enemy. Where most fish are eaten by bigger fish, this fish has no natural enemy. No bigger fish wants to eat this guy. They don't want to get poked by the spine. So they kind of ignore it. This fish grows very quickly. He eats 20 times its weight. It also matures in a year. So what happens when it's mature? It gives off eggs. Okay, the eggs are 2 million eggs a year. So the volume of production of this lionfish is immense. And not having a natural enemy in the water is a problem. So that's why we're saying you have to eat them to beat them. You have to get them, capture them, and use them. So here, it's talking about Jade Mountain, so you can kind of see this is the resort. It overlooks the Pitong Mountains, which is a World Heritage Site, as well as the Caribbean. And so with that, not only is it the Caribbean, where we get all of our local seafood, but we also have an organic farm just on the other side of the Pitongs. And it's a 30-acre organic farm. So I work with the farmer to understand what to grow locally as to whether it's the green bananas or guava, papaya, mangoes, peppers, onions, garlics, lots of fresh herbs. We also grow spices, cinnamon and cloves, as well as mangoes and all sorts of things. We have a lot of great things going on. Someone's got to turn off that horn somewhere. I don't know what's going on. All right. So just another glance at the restaurant. This is Welcome to My World. So that's the walkway into the restaurant. That's kind of what it looks like out in Jade Mountain. Fabulous place to be. It's where you want to go for vacation to get away from the world a little bit. So out there, I do cook very sustainably. All of our fish is sustainably caught, and that's kind of what we're doing. Here is a picture of the beach. We have about over a mile of beachfront as well between the two properties. And here's a lionfish ceviche. This lionfish ceviche is a picture from the book, Fig and Lionfish. This one's with coconut milk. Today I'm going to do one without coconut milk. There's actually a couple different ceviche recipes that I have in the book. But really delicious, refreshing, very light to eat. Here's another dish, lionfish potfish. So potfish is actually trapped fish, small fish that get trapped or netted, and it's a variety of small fish that are used. Usually too hard to bone, so they just cut them up, and usually, this is very fanciful. Usually there's a couple of heads and tails in a potfish, okay? With some peppers, with some garlic, with some stock, as well as the okra and some fresh herbs. So that's what a potfish is. It's meant to be one pot of fish. That's what potfish is about. Okay, lionfish is very versatile. Okay, so we've seen it in ceviche, we've seen it as a potfish where it's kind of steamed or boiled. Here's a lionfish taco. Light, crisp, flavorful, crunchy, lots of texture. So kind of very, very versatile in use like that. And then also, no lionfish in the chocolate. Okay, but the chocolate is actually in the cookbook because I have to add a little bit of sweetness to it. So the chocolate is actually one and the other. All right. So the chocolate from Emerald Estate, which is our organic farm, we have about 1,500 cacao trees that we grow on the organic farm. And with the cacao, we harvest about twice a year, ferment the cacao beans, then dry them in the sun like this, and then after that take them to our chocolate lab at the resort and make chocolate by roasting it and grinding it and making it into a bar. So afterwards, you got to come over here and we got some samples of the Emerald Estate chocolate. Okay, it has only 2 ingredients: the cacao and cane sugar. It has no extra additives. It has no preservatives. It's kind of kind of represents what we do in St. Lucia, what I do with the cuisine of being local and sustainable with that. So this recipe is in the book with as well as some others. This is topped with a little Caribbean sea salt, so that's kind of why I put that in there. And then here, this is a picture of the book. All I'll do is asking, with the book, if you get lionfish, use it. But if not, very flexible. Use another white flesh fish. Use snapper, use mangrove snapper, use yellowtail, use grouper, use mahi. Any well-sourced fish will work, and that's kind of the fun of it. Okay, so now we're going to come down here to the cooking part of this demonstration. You guys all right so far? All good? All right. All right. So we're talking about lionfish plenty here, right? This is what it looks like when it's cleaned. Okay, when I mean clean, it's not that it's a dirty fish. It's that there's scales on most fish. Not all fish, but most fish have scales. So this has been scaled. It also, all that fancy stuff that was over here waggling on both sides is snipped off. All of those spines, the dorsal fins where the venom is over here, is trimmed with a scissor. Okay, and so that this is a beautiful, beautiful fish, really colorful. I'm going to just come around so you guys can get a close-up of that. You guys fish? Yeah? Awesome. Awesome, good. Do you eat what you catch? Right on. Right on. Good. So the lionfish...
So you just snip it off.
You just snip it off with
You just don't want to touch.
Right, I would have gloves on if I was doing it and then snip them off. But here at this point, there's no venom in it.
So there's still skin but no scales.
Right, it's scaled already. We scaled it and cut the venom part off of it. So then you would fillet it just like any old other fish. A fillet, as you can see, is we're talking about this section right in here. Okay, if I've got a couple fillets, that's what the fillet looks like. Okay, so we were talking about fillet. So I'm going to just skim it now, because for this ceviche recipe, ceviche is a kind of raw fish, although it's cooked with the citruses. So with this, what I'm going to do is run the knife through the tail end, and then grab the tail end and just give it a little shake. Okay, so the skin comes off. The skin comes off just like that. And so what I'm going to do then also, there's something that we call pin bones, if you're not familiar. Pin bones are small bones that come to the rib, and I'm going to just trim that. So I'm going to take this, a couple of these, because a few people want to eat, right? Got to eat, so I'm going to take just a moment and just skin it and cut the pin bone out, and then I'm going to show you how we make this ceviche. Got a couple of beautiful fish. Wow, you guys are going to eat really well. Okay, and cut that out. So when you're doing ceviche, this is a ceviche recipe, but as I suggested, you can do the same thing. You can leave the skin on if you wanted to and pan fry it in olive oil and butter and coconut oil, anything like that. Really nice. You can do a nice little seasoning on it and grill it or barbecue it. This fish is just awesome. Beautiful, clean flesh. You're going to see that it tastes almost like lobster. So it's really, really nice like that. So, okay. So this is going to put aside. So now our skins and deboned completely. Now what I'm going to do is take it and just cut through it and make small cubes. Okay, so with those small cubes, I'm going to put it in here. Okay, and cut it, so I'm cutting it in lengths so you can see, because you don't have overhead. So I'm just cutting them in lengths. And then I'll take the length and cut it the other way, so that what you get are small cubes, like this. I'm going to start this up and I'll describe what's going on with this just so it kind of marinates a little bit here. Because otherwise you got to wait about 20 minutes and you guys are going to be very hungry before that happens. But this is really nice flesh. Besides that, you could make fish fingers, you know, just like chicken fingers, fish fingers, so you can bread them, or you could do them in a nice batter. As I said, you can grill the lionfish, you can wrap it in banana leaves. Wrapping it in banana leaves actually is really nice. Season it, a little bit of coconut oil, wrap it in a banana leaf, and then put it on the grill. So that it gets that sort of smoky flavor from the grill, but also it keeps its moisture, which is really nice. One of the things to cooking with fish, one of the most important things you gotta learn about cooking with fish is not to overcook it. If you overcook it, you just never get to put those juices back in, and it gets to be rough and tough and just nasty. So undercooking fish is really one of the most important things you can do with fish, which means cooking it just to the point that it turns pale, from opaque to pale. And then after that, when you have that, you want to be able to take it off of the heat and let it cook through a little bit. So I'm going to just come around here a second. Okay, just so you can see this is just lemon juice and lime juice. Okay, and that's the dice of the fish. Just the lemon juice and lime juice at the moment. Our overhead cameras are not working today, so I'm going to come around to do it. Okay, so lemon juice, lime juice, and enough to cover. So this acidity, the sourness is going to cook it. Okay, so actually, as you can see, you see how the edges are already just starting to turn white. Okay, so you just start because it kind of moves pretty quick. Limes are actually the most acidic fruit in the world. So these limes are awesome. So I use limes both for flavor as well as for the acidity level of it. So you take a lime and squeeze it in. Okay, so just nice and fresh squeeze. The aromatics also, when you squeeze right into it, there's essential oils around the skin. And you get that nice limey blossom smell, which is great. The other thing is a lemon. Now lemon usually has, guess what? It usually has seeds. So with a lemon, I actually would do like this and squeeze the lemon, but I'd squeeze it into a strainer or squeeze them all and then strain through it. Okay, so just kind of taking the lemon juice. Lemons are more moist, there's more juice to it, to each lemon, and then just add that in there. Okay, so we've got some good cooking going on there at the moment. Now while that's cooking, we're going to put together the rest of this ceviche idea, which means lots of vegetables. So I'm going to just move this away for a moment. So I have some room to work. You always want to make sure you have some room to work so it doesn't get ugly. Okay, clean the knife and set that up. So for our vegetables for the ceviche, what I'm going to do is a little bit of red onion. Okay, so with the red onion, I'm going to take it and peel it. And kind of with the red onion, just a little bit. I've got some cut already. And then I'm going to chop that up nice and fine, okay? And that's going to go into the ceviche. Very aromatic. Also, some peppers. Okay, so I've got some red pepper. Nice and sweet, so we've got some sweetness to it. With this, again, going to cut in the same kind of dice, right? Dicing it because you want it with this nice texture, color, flavor, as well as kind of a balance. Because when you're cooking, you always have to think about the balance of what the dish is going to come out with. So you want that kind of balance to be in there. So I'm going to take those and get that into the bowl. And then also a little bit of jalapeno, because we like a little bit of heat. Jalapenos are funny, they can be hot or not, but we're going to just add a little bit because we can. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of jalapeno into that. This is looking beautiful. I'm going to also salt it. Kind of salt it the way my grandmother would measure. A little of this, a little of that, and we're all set. So get a nice bit of salt in there as this starts to cook together. And then I'm going to add, actually, my favorite ingredient. Anyone know what that is? Mangoes. Who loves mango here? I guess I am in Miami. Those of you not from Miami, all right. If you're from Miami, you gotta love mangoes. Or almost anywhere in the world. Mangoes are the most popular fruit in the world. You didn't know that? Yeah. So a mango, you can't tell the color from the color of the skin whether it's ripe or not. You have to give it a squeeze. Okay, because there's lots of different varieties of mangoes. We're not in mango season right now, so this is coming from somewhere in Latin America or the Caribbean. But in summertime, look out. Miami is the place to be for mangoes. So, to cut a mango, okay, that's no one kind of gets that. So, mangoes are kind of this odd shape, right? It's kind of this odd shape. And so where do you start? It's not like a peach where you kind of know where it is or an orange. So what it is you let that sit on the counter, and that's the cheek. So there's a top cheek and a bottom cheek. So when you're looking at that, I'm going to just put this aside so you can see. So when you're looking at the mango, what you're trying to do is let it rest, and then in the center is where the seed is. Okay, so what we're going to do is slice on one side of the seed, and then slice on the other side of the seed. You're going to hit the seed a little bit, and there you go. Okay, then also you have the cheeks, and then mango fingers. Okay, so we've got those, and quite honestly, the best part of the mango is right here. After that, that's for the guests. This is where you go over the sink and dig in. Anyway, so for the mango, this is a little firm, so I'm going to cut it a little differently than normal because we want to cut the skin off. So just to kind of skin the mango, almost like a little melon going on here. Okay, and just getting a nice flesh cuts out of it. And again, we're going to take that. And guess what? We're going to dice it. Okay? So again, kind of dicing the same way we've been dicing everything else. And that's going to go into our ceviche pot. And guess what? I've got some onions, peppers, and jalapenos, which are already diced, so you don't have to stand watch me do all of this. A couple more onions. I've got a lot more mango, because you guys are going to love the mango in there. Okay, I'm going to mix this up. Oh, you guys are going to be happy in a few minutes. Watch out. This is looking good. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to put in a little crushed red pepper, because I like it. I like a little bit of heat. A little bit more salt for the vegetables we just added. Okay, I'm also going to add a little bit of olive oil, which is one of the tricks that I do. Not everyone adds olive oil to a ceviche, but I like it. It makes it a little bit richer. Okay, and then we have to add the aromatics. What are aromatics? What's that? Cilantro and also green onions. Smell, aromatic, aromas. So for the green onions, I'm going to take these and kind of cut them nice and thin, just on a little bias. Because again, it's going to give us this nice green onion, sort of Caribbean sort of flavor. So keeping an eye on it really carefully, you cut through the onion nicely. I love this counter that sort of flies by me. Gonna add that green onion in. And then the cilantro. Now I'm not gonna take this and chop that up, just so everyone does. I actually like to take the cilantro by little cilantro bouquets and bring it over here and pick the bouquet. Like she loves me not, she loves me not kind of thing. And getting all the essential oils, all that flavor right in there. Okay, I'm going to do another little bouquet here. Just picking it so you don't lose anything, all those flavors into the wood cutting board. Why do that when you can capture it? Okay, and then we're going to mix that in. And I'm actually going to come around so you guys can take a look at this. Okay, so that's going to be a lionfish ceviche, which we're going to taste up in just a moment as I come around, and because I know you can't all see into the bowl. All right, look at that. Oh, these guys nosing that. There you go. All right, so we're going to come over here and get a little bit of help in serving this up. Awesome. I suppose you all want to taste a little bit here. This is usually when all the people come in from outside, like, ooh, free food. But you guys deserve it. You sat here and listened to the whole program. So you're going to get to enjoy it first, and then we see what we have. So this is lionfish ceviche. And also know that this is in the book, and with the book there's a lot of other recipes, and if you like, I'll autograph my cookbook, Fig and Lionfish, afterwards. So I'll let you guys get a taste of this lionfish, which looks awesome. Looking good. Does anyone have any questions while I'm doing this?
For just like layman person, what's the best way to source lionfish?
Lionfish, well, the best way is to have a diver friend.
Right, but the second best way.
The second best way is actually ask for it at a fishmonger. Whole Foods is actually one of the few fish stores, not that they're known for fish, but actually all their fish is sustainably caught at Whole Foods. And they have lionfish almost on a regular basis. So Whole Foods is my go-to for lionfish. But local seafood places would possibly have it. And quite honestly, if it was frozen, it would not be a bad thing necessarily, because this is such a small catch that if they freeze it right, it's okay. I'm not necessarily opposed to frozen fish, but I do like fresh fish now.
Is there another fish that's similar to it?
Okay, so that's a good question. If I were to do this recipe and could not get lionfish, I would probably do this with something like a red snapper or a yellowtail snapper. Okay, so that's a good choice, second choice. Or even mahi works. You know, so that, again, getting a nice fresh fish. For ceviche, you really do want fresh fish. And how's it taste?
Very good.
Yeah? All right, good.
These little pubs are great.
Yeah, these are palm leaf. So you can either get them in palm or in bamboo. So again, it's all about sustainability. That's why the wood spoons and little forks, and you know, as many times you can make a better choice, it's a better choice. So that's kind of really what I'm encouraging you to try to make better choices with that. Okay. The book is $34.95. Yeah. And so the chocolate, which you're going to come over and sample in a few minutes with my wife Judi here, she goes out to St Lucia as well and helps make the chocolate. It's really amazing because when you talk about chocolate and handmade fresh chocolate, you can really taste the difference. just as you can taste it in a piece of fish. You want some piece of shell? Did everyone get who's been here? This gentleman here? Let's make sure this gentleman has got. Anyone else? Did we get our guys? You guys in the tent? You got ceviche you got or you need? You need, okay. All right. I gotta feed my friends. Okay, here you go. Make sure we get all of our partners here. They've been hearing about this for days on end, and they're getting to taste it. I'm actually doing another demonstration later today at 3 o'clock, and that demonstration is going to be about Caribbean spices. Completely different demonstration, talking about spices and how to mix spices. So it'll be very interesting. All right, awesome. Thank you all for being here. A pleasure to cook for you.
That was absolutely delicious. I was eating that while I had the camera on the seat next to me and recording. That was unbelievable. So lionfish, turns out it's really good. Well, especially when it's made by Chef Alan. So now we are going to continue our tour of the boats, but that was an interesting thing to see that here at a boat show, you could even get a demonstration by a world-renowned chef. All sorts of interesting things. And I like to, each time I come here, try to show something a little different, whether it's you know, some of the accessories, something that's a little whimsical, and then also to do some sea trials. We're not just looking at everything docked, get some action in also, which is what we're going to be doing today. Let's continue on our journey.